Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're diving into the world of some pretty incredible birds, the Turacos.
Yeah, there's something else.
So if you're picturing like a pigeon or a robin, think again. We're talking vibrant colors, unique adaptations, and a whole lot of personality. And lucky for us, we've got an amazing overview of these birds to guide us.
Definitely. We'll be looking at their biology, their role in the ecosystem, and even touch on some of their cultural significance.
Get ready to have your mind blown. So to start off, um, when I think of Caracas, the first thing that pops into my head is those incredible colors. Like, seriously, these birds are like living rainbows.
Oh, absolutely. Greens, blues, reds, purples, you name it. But here's the thing. Those colors aren't your typical bird pigments.
Wait, really? So, like, most birds get their colors from what they eat, right? Like flamingos and those shrimp.
Right, usually it's from pigments in their food. But Turacos, they create their own unique pigments, mainly for their green and red feathers. We call them Turacoverdin and Torsin.
Okay, those are some pretty cool names, but what makes them so special?
Well, get this. They're copper-based.
Copper, like the metal.
Yep, you heard that right. It's super rare in the bird world.
Wow. So does that mean if a Turaco gets caught in a rainstorm, it'll like leave a colorful trail behind?
Now, that's a fun thought. Well, the pigments are actually water soluble. But don't worry, they don't just wash away in the rain. They're bound to the feather structure in a way that makes them pretty resistant.
Oh, good. I was picturing like a Turaco-shaped tie-dye mess happening in the forest.
Uh-huh, I can see that. But no, they stay vibrant even in the rain.
That's amazing. You know, you really don't think about the chemistry that goes into something as simple as a bird's feathers.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it, right? There's still so much that scientists are trying to figure out about these pigments, like how they evolved and what advantages they might offer.
Yeah, like you said earlier, it's a great example of the diversity of the natural world. But okay, we've got these brightly colored birds, and where are they hanging out?
You think lush forests, woodlands, all across sub-Saharan Africa, that's where you'll find these guys. Ah, so like real rainforest vibes.
Exactly. They're what we call arboreal, meaning they spend most of their time up in the trees. True masters of the canopy.
So not exactly soaring through the skies like eagles.
Not quite. I mean, they can fly, but they're much more at home, hopping and running through the branches, almost like a squirrel, but with wings.
Uh-huh. I love that image. So their feet must be pretty specialized for that kind of lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely. They've got what we call zygodactyl feet, meaning two toes point forward and two backward, gives them an incredibly strong grip.
Ah, so they can really cling on to those branches while they're doing their acrobatics up there.
Exactly. Imagine them clinging to branches, navigating that complex world up in the trees. Those feet are essential.
It's amazing how adapted they are to that environment. So what are they snacking on up there in the trees? Bugs?
Actually, turacos are mostly frugivores, so their diet is primarily fruit, berries, figs, things like that.
So they've got a pretty sweet life, huh? It seems that way. But their love of fruit actually plays a crucial role in their ecosystem. Think of them as little feathered gardeners, helping to spread seeds and regenerate the forest as they move from tree to tree.
Ah, so they're like accidental conservationists.
You could say that. They're helping to plant the forest as they go. Of course, they do eat the occasional insect too, especially when they're raising chicks and need a little extra protein.
Makes sense. Got to keep those little ones fueled up. So we've talked about their colors, their habitat, their diet. What about their social life? Are they loners or more the party type?
Oh, turacos are definitely social birds. They live in family groups or sometimes even larger flocks, and they are loud.
Oh, really? What kind of sounds do they make?
Think croaks, whistles, melodic calls. They've got a whole range of vocalizations they use to communicate. And it gets even more interesting because each species has its own unique calls.
So like a whole Turaco language? That's incredible.
It really is. For example, you've got the great blue Turaco with this deep, booming call that echoes through the forest. Then you have the Shallows Turaco, known for its softer, fluting whistles.
Wow, I bet a Turaco gathering sounds pretty amazing.
It's definitely a lively scene.
Okay, so now I'm picturing this. We've got these brightly colored birds living it up in the trees, eating fruit, chatting with each other. What about their nests? Are they like those elaborate woven things you see some birds making?
Their nests are actually a lot simpler, just shallow platforms made of twigs, usually hidden high up in the branches for safety. Both parents share the responsibility of incubating the eggs and caring for the chicks.
Ah, so it's a real team effort.
Yeah.
How many chicks do they have at once?
They typically lay 2 eggs, and the chicks are what we call altricial.
Altricial, what does that mean?
It means they're born blind and helpless, so they really rely on their parents for everything in those early days.
Wow, those parents have their work cut out for them.
They do, but don't worry, the chicks develop quickly under their care.
That's good to hear. It's been fascinating to learn about the biology of these birds. But you mentioned they also have some cultural significance, right?
Oh, absolutely. In some African cultures, the Turaco's vibrant feathers are used in traditional ceremonies and adornments.
Oh, wow, so they're not just beautiful, they're like symbols, too.
Exactly. They can represent beauty, status, even spiritual connections. It really highlights how our relationship with nature goes beyond just scientific facts. It's interwoven with culture and history.
I love that. It makes you appreciate them on a whole other level.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that some Turaco species are facing threats.
Unfortunately, yes. Habitat loss and hunting are major threats to some populations.
That's so sad to hear. Knowing how specialized these birds are to their environment, it makes me think about how things like climate change and deforestation will impact them going forward.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to think about. These birds really highlight the delicate balance of nature, and their future is ultimately tied to our actions.
Definitely. Well, I think it's safe to say we've all learned a lot about these incredible birds today.
I hope so. They're truly fascinating creatures.
Thanks so much for sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, we hope this has sparked your curiosity to learn more about Turacos and maybe even inspired you to get involved in conservation efforts. Until next time, stay curious.
Stay curious.